Hey up boys, today we're going to be going through 3 leagues, Championship, League 1 and League 2, and going through the teams that I think are nailed on, guaranteed to finish in top 6 or 7 respectively. And I've got 11 in total, so I've got 4 from League 2, I've got 4 from League 1, I've got 3 from Championship. So there's only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. I'm more confident on teams to get in than I am that aren't. And we'll start right here in League 2. We'll start at bottom and we'll work our way up. I'm just going to go across. I could say no, Wimbledon, no, Barrow, no. And I don't think anybody on that top row is nailed on. Even though I've done my predictions and I think Carlisle will get in there, I'm not convinced. My first one in this video and in this league is Chesterfield. Obviously, Chesterfield just coming up from National League last season. They won it, didn't they? And like I keep banging on about, I feel like a broken record now. But teams who win National League are normally bigger size club for this league, like a Chesterfield or a Stockport or a Wrexham or a Luton or a Leighton or teams like that. They always seem to do well quite quickly afterwards. They signed, or not they've signed, they've got a forward 2 of Will Grigg and Paddy Madden. You get ball anywhere near them in boxing, it's going in every single time. They're going to score a lot of goals, as we saw, what were it? The last game in league, 5-0 win away at Crewe, who got to playoffs last season, who got to playoff final. And Chesterfield have just come up, gone there and slapped them start to finish. But with the signings they made, the momentum that it carries, and the fact that there's 7 teams that can get in here in League 2, I think Chesterfield are an absolute banker for it to start with. Second team is Donny. Because Grant McCann, for a start, absolutely excellent manager. Easily best in League 2, I think. Him and probably Darren Moore, I would say the best 2 managers in League 2. Obviously, they got that loss away at Newport last game. But again, first couple of games, I literally couldn't care less. I'm just interested, really, in our team's performing. And again, Donny were a better team. They have more shots. They have more shots on target. They have more possession. This carries on. You're going to get more points than you're going to lose. You know what I mean? You're going to win more games than you're going to lose if you play like this consistently. And after a 4-1 win and a 2-0 win away at Salford, I won't look into results too much this early. But also, obviously, when we remember the form that they went on at end of season to get into playoffs to start with, it's absolutely nuts. Like, the end of this with 4... Did they draw the last game? Yeah. So they drew the last game, but if you go on form for past like 15, it's just ridiculous. 12 wins, 2 draws and a loss. They can carry that into this season. Guaranteed. They've also still got what I think is the best player in that Molyneux, that winger or attacking midfielder, the attacking minded player, let's say. Still got him. Ironside up front is going to get you some goals. I think they're an absolute salt for top 6, top 7. Donny. Next, I've got 2 left in this league. One of them is Port Vale. Obviously, because Port Vale are my league winners, so if I didn't think they were nailed on, then there'd be something wrong. Port Vale, even we are going into the signings too much, they've got George Byers, do you know what I mean? The midfield is absolutely stacked, and they've got a manager in who, at his previous jobs, where he's expected to finish high, he has always finished high. With West Bromwich Championship, he got playoffs, they lost to Villa, who eventually went up. With Wednesday, he got 97 points. 97, that is absolutely absurd, and they ended up going up against us. But we're a team like Port Vale, which are expected to do well in League 2. We're a good team for League 2. Is going to be Eyup in League 2. He's going to finish in playoffs at least. We started quite well as well. Salford away first game to win 2-0 when you've just been relegated, because it can go 2 ways, can't it? When you're coming down, because yeah, everyone's going to be on a downer, but at the same time you can keep some of your better players, which Port Vale have. They've not lost many, if any, of the best players, I don't think. They've still got a good squad. They've got a very good manager there who's come down with them because he took over late into the season last time anyway. They're going to start quite well. They've got that win. EFL Cup, it don't mean no. Same again. I mean, they went to Salford and won again, actually, overnight in Papa John's. So they've met Salford twice and then a draw at home to Tranmere. As long as they're playing well early doors, which, let's have a look. I didn't watch this game, obviously. Quite even, more possession, more shots on target. It's going to catch up. They'll be an absolute nailed on again. Another one that, I mean, I think Port Vale are going to win it. These will be autos for me. But the 3 that I've named so far, I think, are dead on. And then finally, I got MK Dons. I couldn't get away with not bringing NK Dons, could I really? I'm trying to drag that onto there, to be honest. They've started really badly. Like, really, really badly. They've lost the 3 games that they've played. They've only scored once and they've conceded 9. So obviously, it's not best thing ever, but 5 of them were to Watford. And Mike Williamson, the manager, MK Dons are going to be the team that played the most football, you'd say. But again, I think that's quite a negative thing, because you're playing football with plumbers. You know what I mean? You're not playing Man City's football with Man City's players. You're playing it with League 2 standard players or League... Well, to be fair, MK Dons have got a very good team. You're playing it with League 1 standard players on a League 1 standard pitch. where you're going to be trying to play out from back. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you're probably going to concede a lot of goals from your own errors from trying to play out from back. But against teams that have barely even discovered fire yet in League Two with some football they play, which is absolutely honking, you'd think MK Dons are going to pick up a lot of points at home, especially against worse teams. You can see them absolutely smashing some sides about. And yeah, they've not started best. They lost the first game at home 2-1 to Bradford. But again, you look at the stats, eventually it's going to happen for them. The team that they've got, this isn't even the best team yet. It is going to get better than this. And still, they look quite good. Colchester away, same again. You gain 68% possession, but you've lost 2-0. So ultimately, it means nothing, does it? But if they can keep playing like this, and you keep getting your shots off, obviously Colchester have got less at ball, but they're having more shots, and they've won. But if MK Dons keep playing like that, they will be good. And then if we look at the signings that they've made, I mean, it's just an absolute mess. I feel like this is also part of why they've started quite slowly. Because not only did they lose the best player easily, Max Dean, a striker at 20, who was scoring some freakish goals last year, but they've brought in so many players to the point where you can't just lob all these blokes on pitch at once and expect them to play well, can you? It takes time for these to gel. You've got to get some green chemistry links going on. You've got to get some lines going. But if you're bringing in Tommy Lee from Accrington Stanley, Luke Offer from Crewe, Tom Carroll from Exeter, Liam Kelly from Crawley, these type of players, eventually it's going to click and they might end up going on a run that's similar to what Donny did, where they just won about 40 games in a row. I could definitely see something like that happening from MK Dons. And even though there's some very good sides in here, like Carlisle I think are quite good, Bradford, obviously, Gillingham, Notts County, do you know what I mean? Teams like that. I think Chesterfield, Donny, MK Dons and Port Vale are the four that I'm extremely confident about finishing in a playoff place, at least. I mean, I think 3 of these will be autos. But if I were a gambling man, which I definitely am, I would not recommend you do it because I lose everything. But if I were a gambling man, I would be putting stuff like this on. But that is League 2, done and dusted. Right, League 1. That's Championship. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for this rookie error. My assistant's a joke. Right, League 1. I've got 4 in here as well. And there's only 6 places in this league for playoffs. But last season, I called top 8 in like November. I called top 5 or 5 of the 6 teams in probably about December. I called Peterborough, Bolton, Barnsley, Portsmouth and Derby very early on. The only one that I didn't think could actually get in there were Oxford, and they ended up going up and down the best team out of everybody that I've just mentioned in Championship. But with this league, I'm all right normally. I just tend to put Barnsley a bit too high. Speaking of, first thing that I think I nailed on a Barnsley. This isn't some sick, twisted joke. I'm not like into humiliation or anything like that. It's not like I'm enjoying this. This is, I genuinely think if we get 2 strikers in, this will be the best team that we've had in the 3 years that we've been in this league. And after, 4 games, 2 of them being losses, I think this is best manager that we've had. I think Darryl Clark, just based off what I've seen already and the things he says and how he says them, I mean, Neil Collins, I'm a better manager than Neil Collins. But I'm preferring him to Duff already, and it's only been 4 games. You can look at games all you want. We're literally playing overnight against Man United's under 21s, which we started quite well. We were 2-0 up at half time. We've got a right back and a centre mid stood up front. That's where we're at. And we're still winning games. That first game against Mansfield, I thought we were quite good. Mansfield looked quite good as well, but it was first game under a new manager. Wigan away at second half, we absolutely slapped them. They couldn't get a ball off us for half an hour. And then away at Lincoln other day, the stats obviously are favouring Lincoln, I'm assuming, yeah. Especially that second half, because we just sat back and held out because, again, we've got the depth of a Sunday League team. But as starting 11, that back 3 is solid. We've got Slanina in there from Chelsea. He's best keeper in league, I'm convinced already. I think we've got best midfield 3 in league as well. We're just missing the 2 strikers up front. We get that, there's absolutely no way we don't finish lower than 4th at an absolute minimum. So, yeah, Barnsley my first one. Second up, it's next door, it's Birmingham. Birmingham are an absolute cert for autos near mine, top 6. Results-wise, that first game were very, very dodgy. Reading looked really good. I think Reading deserved to win. Obviously, I didn't watch that EFL Cup away at Charlton. I didn't watch this for Wickham either. And obviously the stats look quite even, or just on surface of it. But what Birmingham fans are saying, like that first half, Wickham had 18% at ball, even though they were winning at half time. Oh, no, they weren't. They were drawing, but they were winning for the first half an hour. The stats and everything, all the underlying factors that show how good a team actually is, Birmingham will look a hell of a lot better than what the stats are saying to you. When you look at the team, is it a surprise? They've got this Harris on loan from Fulham. They've got Alpha May up front to top goal scorer for a team that finished about 16th. They've got Mark Leonard in from from Brighton, who were on loan at Northampton last season, one of the best players in the league easily. They've got very good back 4, Peacock, Farrell at net. The team in general is just absolutely obscene. I do think they will struggle away at grounds like this, at teams like Wickham, at teams like Bristol Rovers, like Lincoln, horrible sides that make it hard for you to go and play what you want to do. But the team that Birmingham have got, this manager obviously coming in from Tottenham, they've interviewed about 50 people for this job and settled on him. So they're going to have a very good manager. They spent a lot of money on players that I've never heard of that are guaranteed to be half decent because they cost this much, you'd think. And the players that they've picked up from domestic game in this league, in loans from higher divisions, they're just an absolute freak of a squad. And if they don't get top 6, I'll honestly eat my own arsehole live on cam. So that's number 2. I've got Barnes and Birmingham. It's just the Bees, fellas. It's the Bees because Bolton are number 3. Bolton are obviously a very good side. Last 2 years tell you that. They've been in playoffs both times. They've gone one further each time. They lost to us in semis first time, then the Betters, and then they lost at Wembley. The results early on are good. Leyton Orient, again, that's one of them teams, again, that I think's just a bit dodgy, trying to go there and win. And then I watched this game when they were home to Wrexham, and the golfing quality between two teams is absolutely massive. Bolton are considerably better than Wrexham, which is it's a given anyway, isn't it? Because Wrexham aren't going to go and keep ball away at Bolton. Very little teams can go to Bolton, have more possession, have more shots. You just got to accept what it is and try and play off what you can get. But as far as lineup goes, I think this is the best team I've seen Bolton have in this league. McAtee, Charles and Collins as a front three is an absolute joke. Even if they didn't score, maybe the 3 similar-ish players and they ain't got like a bit of a target man. They ain't got like a Cosgrove or somebody that's just a bit, someone that can play second balls off. They ain't got anybody like that. They're going to try and play football 24/7, which could come back to bite them in arse a little bit. You need a bit of roughness about you, I think. And all their height comes in centre half department. Baxter's a very good keeper as well. It's just a freakishly good 11. Ian Evatt, question marks, should have gone up last year, definitely. Probably, in fact, no, he shouldn't have gone up first time, but he definitely should have gone up last year with teams that he had. And for me, watching this game with my own eyes, if this is a Wrexham side that I think are going to be half decent as well, that'll be maybe top half, 12-ish, somewhere around there. And Bolton, yeah, it's a draw, but again, results, I'm not bothered this early. If the golfing quality between the two teams is that big, and Bolton look that much better than Wrexham this early, another one that's a dead cert for top 6 in Bolton. And again, Wrexham aren't a bad side. And finally, my last team in here, to make up my 4, I've got Huddersfield Town. Results-wise, they've obviously won the first 3 games. They've only conceded once in a row home to Stevenage. By all accounts, though, Stevenage were quite even with Huddersfield away from home. But this is good. I'm guessing a lot of Stevenage fans are basing that on what second half could have looked like. I'm going to have a look now. I've not seen the stats or anything, but I imagine it's second half a lot more even. Yeah, exactly. That's what Michael Duff is going to bring to you. Because first half, this is the most Michael Duff thing I've ever seen in my life. He goes out there first half to win. He goes out to win it first half. It's not about like, oh, well, hang on, try and do this. He wants to win first half every time. And the teams there, stats-wise, obviously, they look like they've slapped him. But when Duff goes, when he starts winning comfortably 2-0, it's just sit back and defend them for the rest of the half. And it leads to heart palpitations. It's awful. And obviously then, what? Stevenage have gone into penalty at 95th minute. But that should have been seen out easily. And the fact that it's even on possession, Stevenage have had more than double shots in second half, more than triple shots on goal. Huddersfield had a sniff in second half. They've just gone out there to protect what they've got. You're not going to get away with that every time. He could easily just gone for Stevenage throat in second half and just carried on with stats like that and got a very early goal difference with a 5-0 win against a weak team. But instead, I do think that Huddersfield will be the weaker out of the 4, to be honest. But again, I'm probably most confident on Huddersfield being in top 6 just because of what Duff is as a manager. But they are going to concede a lot of late goals to some very bad teams because that's just the way that it goes. Again, if they can keep Ellick as well, defensively they're going to be very, very sound. I can't believe Ellick's still there, to be honest with you. But the midfield and the defence is very good. Not as good as Barnes though. Now, as for Championship, I've only got 3 sides in here that I truly believe in. I think the top of this league is honestly shocking, barring maybe 1 from what looks like quite early doors. But the top of this league is really bad. I think it's awful trying to predict this early. I think it's easier to predict the teams that are going to go down than it is the ones that's going to go up, because it's very level in terms of where I think teams will be. However, first things first, let's just get big dogs out of the way, which is these fellas again. We've got Scott Parker. So I thought that were a hindrance to what they were going to do. But with the team that Burnley have got, it could literally play itself with no manager and still win, because their 11 is an absolute disgrace. I went over this in video that I did the other day, didn't I? Like the roundup at first games. But you got Veghorst on bench, you've got Masengo on bench, you've got this bloke on bench, Bettino on right mid, Koleosho on left, Lyle Foster up front, Brownell and Cullen that are still there. The defence is ridiculous. They've got a promotion-winning keeper in net. What is anybody supposed to do against this 11? And when you look at the other bigger sides that have started quite poorly, even in terms of performances as well, like maybe a Leeds, someone like that, and then Burnley go and smash 9 goals in first 2 games, 4 away at a team that they come down with when Luton finished above them in league last season. It's a joke. It's genuinely a joke that the gap can be this big. And I genuinely see this as rewarding failure. That is genuinely what I think of this. This season, obviously, they've sold that Odobert to Tottenham. They're fairly even on the transfers this season. But it is rewarding failure, because last season they've gone up, spent 100 million quid across a full 11 effectively. They've just got rid of the team that got promoted to begin with. Bought a full new 11 that are quite young age-wise. Accepted relegation to then go down and try and smash Championship again to go up. It's just the state that football is in at minute with the top teams and the top league, or just Premier League in general, and the gap that you've got to try and bridge when you're going up from Championship, and what you've got to do to be able to compete by spending money on stuff like this, coming down, getting your parachute payments and going back up, rather than trying to go for it first season like maybe Ipswich are going to do this time. I just think it's sad that you've got to try and do this to try and stay up. I really think it's sad. But they're absolutely dead, nailed, 100% certain to finish in top 6. 100%. And so are Coventry, I think. Just with the overall squad that they've got, the amount of goals that they're going to score, the manager that they've got. Coventry. Obviously now they've had Mark Robins for years. I can't remember when he went there, but it must have been like 5 years ago at least. You're partnering a bloke that knows club inside and out with certified goals. That Haji Wright is a nutcase. He's very good. The right hand side that they've got with this Sakamoto, with the right back overlapping him, and Rudoni from Huddersfield, all on the same side, is ridiculous. Ben Sheaf isn't even in this team. The only problem that I see with Coventry is constantly changing the defence all the time. Because last season it were Kitchen, Thomas, and Brad Thomas. It were literally 3 Barnes lads, and they've swapped all 3 of them. If they just settle it down defensively, I look at the stats. It's an absolute mess. Coventry are a very, very good team with some very good players. And now, the thing that separates Coventry from a lot of sides is the depth that they've got as well. They've got Mason Clark, who would start for probably 20 teams in this league. They got him from Peterborough last season and sent him out on loan in January back to him. But Mason Clark is a ridiculous player. Thomas Asante from West Brom. It's this Palmer, De Silva. Like, again, they've not even got Ben Sheaf starting. It's a joke. The team and the depth that they've got is best by a mile, squad-wise, I think. Well, them and Burnley. So the squad's there, the goals are there, the manager's there. They're going to have a full house effectively every week, because they were in absolute pits for years, Coventry, and now that they're back in it, all fans are back in it. My first ever game at home to Coventry, we lost 2-1 about 16 years ago at home. Classic. But they've got everything there to really, really kick on this time. Obviously, first game away at Stoke, it's just about how you're playing in it. Like I've said 40,000 times. But if they keep playing well and they settle that defence. And then the final team in here, I made a video on them the other day. I hate them more than life itself. But Leeds are going to finish in the top 6. Where in the top 6 was the point of my video, because the squad that they've got should be smashing it to bits. But I don't think they will. I do think they will finish probably in playoffs after the sales that they've made and the lack of signings that they've brought in to replace them. And Fark is a fat greaseball in his shit. But this first game, I don't think that accurately represents what happened. I really don't. I thought Portsmouth held their own for more than held their own for a lottery. I thought Portsmouth were quite good. This in Cup at home to Middlesbrough. Obviously, this weren't either the first teams. Nowhere close to being either the first teams. But Michael Carrick just absolutely taught Fark a lesson start to finish with his second team. Again, even when they were started winning, but a lot of goals were quite late, weren't they? A lot of the goals were in second half. First half, Middlesbrough were a better team. Second half, even when they started winning, Middlesbrough were second team. Entire game, Middlesbrough were better side. West Brom away, I had like half an eye on this, because there were loads of games on at once, weren't there? So I only had half an eye on this. But again, if you're swapping the managers here with West Brom and Leeds, and you put Carlos in front of this Leeds team and Fark in front of the West Brom team, then Leeds come away from this game with a 3-0 win easily. This team, I'm sorry, even if you take out Somerville, you take out players that Fark should have got promoted last time, and if he couldn't do it last time, he can't do it this. Because if you're taking Somerville, Rutter, and Gray out of a team, and it still looks that good, how can they not finish in top 6? It would be an absolute disgrace if they don't finish in playoffs at least. But I do think they will. And again, you've got some good sides in this league as well, like Middlesbrough. I think Middlesbrough could have a very, very good year. Luton, I think, will have a good year. Both Chefs could have a good year. Sunderland, you know what I mean? There's a lot. West Brom. There's a lot of good teams that are on quite a level playing field, but I think Burnley, Coventry, and Leeds, for different reasons, because I think Burnley and Coventry are actually just like good across the board, but Leeds as starting 11 is very, very, very good. But for different reasons, I think them three are the ones that I've got as guaranteed top 6s. But that's that, and that's where I'm at. So League 2, I've got Chesterfield, Donny, MK Dons, and Port Vale. For League 1, I've got Barnsley, Birmingham, Bolton, and Huddersfield. And then for Championship, I've got Burnley, Coventry, and Leeds. And when we come back to this in May next year, I reckon, genuinely, I've got at least 10 out of them 11 right. And that's on Binks himself. I genuinely swear down, I think I'll get at least 10 of them right. So thank you all for watching. As always, I love you all. The Reds are going up, and I will see you in a bit. Also, Friday night, Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds. I'm doing a watch-along, and I'm doing it right here. You heard me right. We're taking it to new levels, baby. Come on.